Today is very auspicious day. Here in Slovenia we have Benjuli Mahadvadashi, and we just sang this song, Shuddha Vakata Charanarinu. Here also Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Gaur Amar Je Savastane Koralo Brahmanaranga. Se Savastana Heri Boyami Pranay Bhakata Same. Where my Gaurango performed his pastimes, I will see all those pastimes places together with loving devotees. So we are doing Shri Navadvip Parikrama under the guidance of Nityananda Prabhu in association of Srivas Pandit, Jiva Goswami, Bankshi Badan Ananda, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. They are all loving devotees. They have prema. Yesterday we heard that Markandeya Rishi, he was being tossed in the waters of annihilation, but by Surabhi's grace, she lifted him and took him to Navadvip. Navadvip was not destroyed at that time because Navadvip is eternal. So he saw that it extended, and actually she took him to Godrundvip, and he saw Godrundvip. He saw that it extended for 2 billion miles and that it was beautified by countless flowing rivers and waterfalls. A variety of lush green trees and creepers adorned this place, and the birds sang the glories of Sri Gaurahari. Also mosquitoes, they are also singing the glories of Gaurahari. He saw a peepal tree that extended over 1 yojan, means 8 miles, under which Mother Surabhi was sitting. The sage, afflicted by hunger, said to Mother Surabhi, "O Bhagavati, please save my life. Please remove my distress by feeding me with your milk." The compassionate Surabhi gave her milk to sage to drink. Having regained his strength, the son of Mrikanda again spoke to Surabhi. "You are Bhagavati, you are my mother. Your illusory energy is spread throughout the entire universe. Without thinking properly, I asked for a boon to remain alive for 7 kalpas. But, O Mother, the time of devastation is fraught with much distress and trouble, and therefore completely devoid of happiness. 1 kalpa, I think, is 1 day of Brahma. And when he is annihilated, then that is Mahakalpa. But every day, during the night of Brahma, there is partial dissolution of material universe, not full. Full will be at the end of life of Brahma. This is so, I think, Praloy Samaya, this is this one, is fraught with much distress and trouble and therefore completely devoid of happiness. O Mother, what shall I do? Please be merciful and tell me how I can be freed from this unhappiness." After hearing his words, Mother Surabhi answered, "Stay here and worship Sri Gaurahari's lotus feet. This Navadvip is beyond material nature and is therefore never destroyed. Although the material eyes perceive it as extending for 16 koshas, this supreme realm of Vaikuntha is eternal and completely faultless. Here, space and time are always above material existence, and no one here knows anything about the material illusory energy. Please behold this wonderful Navadvip Dham. It is surrounded on all sides by the virtuous river Viraja. Each part of this dham measures 2 billion miles, and its center is the grand town of Mayapur. The 8 islands of this dham are likened to the 8 petals of a lotus flower. Navadvip is in the middle and is like the stamen. All holy places, demigods, and sages reside here, worshipping Sri Gauranga. O Markandeya, you also should take shelter of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, knowing them to be the only true wealth. Completely give up the desires for sense enjoyment, liberation, etc., and take shelter of pure bhakti dharma. By worshipping Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, you will quickly attain the fruit of Madhur Prema. When Prema appears in someone's heart, it drowns him in the nectar of Sri Krishna's various loving pastimes. He will attain the shelter of Sri Radha's lotus feet in Braja, and his heart will always be immersed in service to the divine couple. You should clearly understand one thing. By serving the Lord, one can attain incomparable happiness. In impersonal liberation, the happiness is only insignificant and imaginary. After hearing Surabhi's words, Markandeya Muni folded his hands and asked, "If I serve Sri Gaura Hari's divine feet, what will happen to the ripe prarabdha and unripe aprarabdha results of my fruitive activities?" Aprarabdha means that which is still like in seed form. It did not yet produce the fruit. I did some action and that fruit is still waiting for me to get it. But prarabdha means already taking place, fruit. So what will happen? Mother Surabhi explained the essence of all established philosophical truths. There is no consideration of rules and regulations in the worship of Sri Gaura. When you call out the name of Sri Gaura Hari, all of your karma is destroyed. You will not experience difficulties anymore, and your disease of material existence, repeated birth and death, will be removed for good. Not only is karma destroyed, the result of mental speculation, gyan, is cut at the root. Markandeya Muni smiled blissfully upon hearing Mother Surabhi's words and called out, "Gaur, Gaur." Sometimes he cried and sometimes he laughed. Only by devotion it is possible to destroy also prarabdha karma, not by any other process. By gyan you can destroy aprarabdha, but not prarabdha. That is why Jiva Goswami explained that one who will take shelter of Supreme Lord, whoever he may be, woman, lowborn, all anyone. Krishna also says in Gita, whoever will take shelter of me, even animal, anyone, he will be rescued from all sins and everything. So Jiva Goswami told, if one takes shelter of Supreme Lord in devotion, he will destroy his prarabdha karma, and he is also eligible to, he becomes automatically a Brahmin. Although he is not born in Brahmin family, but he will be Brahmin. And he said that, but because there is no custom for such Vaishnavas to do Brahminical duties, then he will have to wait for next birth. But if in future some Mahajan, some great soul will introduce such custom, that is also bona fide. So Prabhupada made this. He gave Brahma Gayatri to his disciples to show to those Smarta Brahmins that one who is a Vaishnava is automatically Brahmin. And also to show to those who are Vaishnavas that they should not feel anything lower because they are not born in Brahmin family. They should not think in that way. Inferiority complex should not have. So Prabhupada introduced this because it is in scripture. Prarabdha karma is destroyed. So you cannot see such Vaishnava in terms of any birth, high or low, or like this. One gets high or low birth according to his past karma. That is there. Differentiation is there. There are better births, lower births, all this is there. But when one takes shelter, then it doesn't matter anymore. He's a Vaishnava. So here, to give us this teaching, Markandeya asked, if I will worship Gauranga Mahaprabhu, then what will happen? Then Mother Surabhi said, you will destroy everything. All karma, prarabdha, aprarabdha, even that impersonal gyan, that will also be removed. You will get prema. So he was chanting. Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, O Jiva, just behold this unprecedented place where Markandeya Rishi regained his life. Sri Jiva was inundated with supreme bliss when he heard the glories of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu emanating from the mouth of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. That day they took rest at that place and started towards Navadvip the next morning, chanting the name of Lord Hari. Knowing that service to Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Jannava Devi's lotus feet is the essence of life, and holding the order of Sri Nityananda Prabhu on his head, this insignificant and lowly Bhakti Vinod is describing the magnificence of Nadia. All glories to Sri Gaurachandra, all glories to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Sri Gadadhar Pandit, all glories to Srivas Pandit and the other devotees. All glories to the residents of the devotees, the topmost Sri Navadvip Dham. The next morning, Sriman Nityananda Prabhu proceeded onwards, intoxicated by singing Sri Gaura's names. The devotees walking with him were also drowning in prema and were thus distributing supreme bliss. One will taste himself and also distribute. When they arrived in Madhyadip, Sriman Nityananda Prabhu smiled and said, this is the village of Majida. Here the 7 sages, Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulaha, Kratu, Pulaste and Vashishta, happily rested and worshipped Sri Gaurachandra. If you will read Puranic Charitavali of Gurudev, you will find about Markandeya Rishi, which we heard now, and also about all these 7 sages, their biography, qualities, everything. In Satya Yuga, those sages heard Sri Gaura Hari's glories from their father Brahma. Hearing about Sri Gaura's glories, they became enchanted and begged Brahma to give them the eternal treasure of Gaur Prem. The four-headed Sri Brahma became pleased by hearing their appeal and said, all of you go to Navadvip Dham and sing the glories of Sri Gaura Hari. You will easily attain prema. So they said, you give us prem. Then he said, yes, you will get prem by doing this. Like one, our devotee, she asked Srila Bhaktivinoda Puri Maharaj, I want Krishna prema. Then he said, yes, you chant Harinam, you will get. One who has gained the mercy of the Dham will attain the association of saintly personalities as a result. By continuously performing bhajan in the association of sadhus, one will dive deep into Krishna prema. To be engrossed in prema is a matter of supreme joy. One whose heart is attached to Sri Navadvip Dham will attain residence in Braja. To chant Sri Gaura Hari's name while staying in the transcendental holy abode of Sri Navadvip is the sadhu's only desire. The 7 sages thoroughly understood their father's instruction and came to this place. There are 2, one is Kripa Siddha, one is Sadhan Siddha. Kripa Siddha is very rare, generally Sadhan Siddha. Gurudev will give Sadhan, if you do, then you will receive Prema. They chanted Hari's name, danced and loudly sang of the glories of Sri Gaura Hari, praying for the attainment of Prema. As they chanted, they began to pray, O Gaura Hari, please have mercy on us by finally giving us your darshan just once. We have followed many varieties of religious paths and thereby committed offenses, but now we have made bhakti the sole aim and object of our lives. For every jiva, proper engagement is only devotion to Krishna, because we are eternal servant of him. So they felt we did all other things, so we committed offense. But now we understood. We will make bhakti the sole aim and object of our lives. In this way, the sages underwent austerities and worshipped Sri Gaura Hari with exclusive faith in bhakti. They completely gave up eating and sleeping and just chanted his name. One day at noon, the supremely compassionate Sri Gaura Hari appeared with the Panchatattva and gave his darshan to the sages. The Lord's divine body was glowing like 100 of suns shining together. This form of his attracted even the minds of the yogis. How astonishing was Sriman Mahaprabhu's beautiful golden form. Around his neck he wore a garland of forest flowers. The rays shining forth from his ornaments illuminated the 10 directions. Sriman Mahaprabhu's glance was most beautiful and his hair was long and curly. A spot of sandalwood pulp decorated his forehead. He wore a dhoti folded in 3 places, and his chest was beautifully adorned with the sacred thread. A garland of malika flowers dangled gracefully from his neck. They were all enchanted upon seeing Mahaprabhu's form and requested him thus, O Lord, we have now taken shelter at your lotus feet. Mercifully grant us the wealth of bhakti. Sri Gaura Hari heard their prayer and kindly replied, Please listen, O sages. Abandon all other desires except one, service to Sri Krishna. Throw off the shackles of jnana and karma and only cultivate devotion to Sri Krishna. Within a short time, I will unfold my pastimes in Nadia. At that time, all of you will be able to behold my pastimes of chanting the holy names of the Lord. For now, I order you, however, to keep all of these topics confidential. Go to Sri Kumar Hata and worship Sri Krishna at the ghats you have constructed. After Sri Gaura Hari disappeared from their vision, the 7 sages went to Sri Kumar Hata. Look, even now these 7 beautiful hillocks stand as testimony to their worship. These 7 hillocks appear just like the constellation of 7 sages in the sky. Just by living here, one can attain Sri Gaura Hari without even following any rules and regulations. O Jiva, the river you see flowing in the southern direction is the supremely sacred Gomati. Close by is Naimisharanya, where Bhagavatam was spoken. In the Kali Yuga of the previous Kalpa, when the influence of Kali became excessive, Shaunak and other sages joyfully heard the Gaur Bhagavat from Suta Goswami. All the miseries of that person who studies the Puranas in this place during the month of Kartik are vanquished. He becomes absorbed in Sri Gaura Hari's pastimes and easily attains Braja. Once Panchanan, means Lord Shiva, came here with his devotees, riding on Lord Brahma's swan carrier, having given up his own carrier Nandi the bull. He heard Sri Gaura Hari's pastimes recited just as they are described in the Puranas. The followers of Lord Shiva from Kashi surrounded Panchanan. They continuously sang Sri Gaura Hari's name, danced and showered flowers on Lord Shiva. Upon hearing these words of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Ashta Sattvika Bhav arose in the heart of Sri Jiva, and he began rolling in the dust of that place. Relishing the influence of that holy place, he was not able to maintain his composure. The devotees spent that day there together with Sri Nitai Chand. The next day, they all proceeded onward for darshan of Sri Pushkara. That person in whose heart the worship of Sri Jamnava Devi and Sri Nityananda Prabhu is always manifest, is singing of the glories of Sri Nadia and the sweetness of the devotees, being full of affection. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. All glories to Sri Gaura Hari along with Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Advaita Acharya. All glories to Gadadhar Pandit. All glories to Sri Vas Pandit. All glories to Sri Navadvip Dham, the embodiment of pure Prema Bhakti. All glories to the names of Sri Gaura and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. O souls of Kali Yuga, please listen. Give up karma, gyan, dharma, adharma, everything, and only perform bhajan of Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. O brothers, the ocean of mercy, Sri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu, seeing your endeavor, will freely, without doubt, bestow upon you the bliss of Braja. We are hearing that Anya Bilasita Shunyam Jnana Karma Di Anabritam. Devotion to Krishna should not be covered by karma, gyan, yoga, everything. Even here mentioned dharma, adharma means following varna ashram dharma, what is prescribed and what is prohibited in varna ashram dharma, that also one has to give up, should not overpower the devotion. Like there are some rules in Varnashram Dharma, but only those rules which are favorable for devotion can be accepted by devotees, and those which are not should not be, otherwise there will be deviation. So it should not be covered. You may do, but should not cover, disturb. Like just today I heard one devotee was asking me from Garuda Puran. It was mentioned if one woman, wife, is barren, cannot have child, or if she has only daughters, or if child dies in her womb, she should be abandoned after 9, 10, and 11 years. But if she is speaking unpleasant words, then she should be abandoned immediately. It is there. So now, why? Because in Varnashram Dharma, one should take wife to produce male child who will be called Putra. He may have daughters also, but at least one male child should be there, Putra. Putra means one who will deliver you from hell by doing that Shraddha ceremony. So, if there is some sin involved in that woman, and this husband also is married to her, there is some sin. So, in order to do atonement, he has to give up such wife. But in devotional, this is not applied. Whether she's having child or male or that, no. What is important is if she is inclined to serve Krishna or not. They are assisting, even with no child or anything, because by devotion one will achieve everything, not by his son doing Shraddha and like this. So if some will think, oh, she cannot have child, so I should abandon. That will be offense if she is a devotee. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur said devotees, they are following Varna Ashram Dharma only as much as necessary for maintaining one's life in this world, but not all the rules and regulations if they are unfavorable. So, but if wife may have so many male child, but if she becomes offender to Bhagavan and devotees and Shastra, like in the case of Srila Sai Maharaj, she sold that Bhagavatam for the sake of tea, then Sai Maharaj did right. He abandoned her for the sake of devotion. So here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, no, Nityananda Prabhu. No, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is here is saying, you people of Kali Yuga, you hear me. Give up karma, gyan, dharma, adharma, everything you give up. No need. If you worship Gaur Nityananda, you will get everything. No need to follow other things. You will get the purpose of all those things by worshipping Krishna. And you should not be attached to those. Atyahara, we are hearing Upadeshamrita, Niyamagraha. One should not follow the rules and regulations of something which is not according to his eligibility. Then he will be loser. So our devotional practice should not be covered by anything, deviated by anything. Even scriptural injunctions for Varnashram, no. Only what is favorable for devotion is to be accepted, what is unfavorable, rejected. That. So in this case, we have to reject such proposal. If devotee wife will have only daughters, but she's a great devotee, she's serving Krishna, so one will think after 10 years I should give her up. Then that is wrong. That will be aparad, Vaishnava aparad. So we have to know what to follow. So many Vedic scriptures, all good, but we have to know what to follow, what is the purpose, everything. But if there is no guidance, then I will think, oh, it is in Veda, everything I have to follow. But they don't know what to follow, what is the purpose of everything. That is why guidance of realized devotee is necessary, and we should follow what he prescribes. When the morning arrived, Sri Nityananda Prabhu took Sri Jiva with him, and they continued their Dham Parikrama. Because this devotee was asking me, why is this? Why should one abandon such wife? Then I told, that is in Varna Ashram Dharma. It is not for devotees. Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, "O Jiva, because there is some bodily defect or some past sin, something is there, so that is related to body thing. But Atma is inclined to serve Krishna or not, that is important. And we should see what is favorable for the service of Krishna. All the sins and defects of the body, everything will be destroyed by bhakti only. There is no need of any other atonements and these things. Like when that Subudhi Rai, he said to Mahaprabhu, I became Muslim. So Brahmins, they are saying, I should drink hot ghee and give up my life. Then I will be freed from this sin. Then Mahaprabhu said, no need. You chant Harinam continuously. When you will come to Namabhas, that will destroy all your karma, all your sins, everything will be destroyed. And by further chanting pure name, you will get Krishna Prema. There is no need for you to give up body, to be purified. Like here, there is no need to abandon wife if you are doing devotion and she's doing devotion. That will be wrong. Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, and also I told on that day when we were hearing about Srila Bharati Maharaj, Bhakti Vivek Bharati Maharaj, I said I will tell you, but then I forgot because I had to see the original, how Prabhupada said in Bangla. The thing is, Bharati Maharaj became little disturbed with mission and he little distanced himself. But when Prabhupada was about to disappear, then he came to take darshan of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada told him, you are a practical man, so you please take care of mission. Then he told him, either in love or rapture, we should have same purpose. We should maintain same purpose, same goal. Means Prabhupada wanted to say, we may have like loving relations or quarreling relations, that is okay. We may have some these things, but in spite of that, in spite of those things, we should maintain same purpose, that is for the worship of Krishna. Sometimes also devotees or husband and wife, like they are quarreling due to certain differences there, because we are not pure devotees. So it's certain differences. But in spite of that, we should cooperate for the service of Krishna. That target should not be lost, because that goal is same. We are quarreling for some worldly attention and for some worldly disrespect and like this, where you are quarreling, but that should not overtake or cover that which is the purpose, is to serve Krishna. When there is only this target to serve Krishna, then unity is possible. But if there are other desires, then there will be quarrel. So Prabhupada said, in spite of quarrel, still we should cooperate for the service of Krishna. This is the Prabhupada told him. Either in love, means in like nice, or rapture, that is in quarrel or disturbance. Still we should maintain that target is the same. It is the worship of Krishna. So we should try to keep this as most important, this common goal, not certain temporary differences and quarrels and all this. So that is in relation to Srila Bharati Maharaja's biography. I received that in Bangla. Even Prabhupada said this half sentence, he said in English, half in Bangla. He said love and rapture in English and then in Bangla further. I'll read you because it is very important point. Prabhupada's own words. He said, Bharati Maharaj ke bolen, আপনি কাজের লোক মিশন দেখিবেন, লাভ ও রাপচার একটা তাৎপর্য বিশিষ্ট হইয়া ভালো. In Bangla, in love and in rapture, we should have one special purpose, one meaning, one special purpose that will be good. That will be good. That one special common purpose is service of Krishna, serving the mission of Mahaprabhu. When the morning arrived, Shri Nityananda Prabhu took Shri Jiva with him and they continued their Dham Parikrama. Shri Nityananda Prabhu said, "O Jiva, look at this delightful village. Even though currently everyone calls it Brahmanapura, according to the scriptures, its name is Brahmana Pushkara. The secret of this place is most confidential. In Satyuga, a Brahmana named Divadas renounced his home and went on a pilgrimage to all holy places. Even though Pushkara Tirtha was very dear to him, while wandering one day, he arrived in Sri Navadvip Dham. In this very place, he had a dream one night in which someone told him, O Bipra, means Brahmana, reside here and you will attain the eternal treasure. Divadas built a hut and stayed here until his old age. In his old age, when he could not walk anymore, a strong desire to behold Pushkara came in his mind. Being unable to move, the Brahmana began to lament, Alas, alas, now I will not be able to see the holy abode of Pushkara. Pushkara Raja, out of mercy, came before Divadas in the form of a Brahmana, personified that holy place. Came in the form of Brahman, the deity of Pushkara Tirtha. They're all persons, so everything is person. Those who are realized soul, they can see this. That is Vedic conception. Everything is person, ultimately. Nothing can be with, everything is consciousness in person. And nothing can be maintained without conscious principle. So at the back, consciousness is there of everything. So this Brahmana said to Divadas, do not cry, but one time in the delightful pond in front of you, and Pushkara Tirtha will manifest directly before you. After hearing his words, Divadas bathed in that kunda, and he received transcendental eyes by which he could behold Pushkara Tirtha. Divadas wept continuously. He said to Pushkara Tirtha, "For my sake you had to take such great trouble to come here." Pushkara replied, "Listen, O fortunate Brahman, I have not come from afar. I always reside here, in this place." This Navadvip Dham consists of all holy places. All the holy places reside here to serve Shri Navadvip Dham. Gurudev used to repeatedly say this when doing Parikrama. All holy places are residing here in Navadvip in their original form. From here, they are going to other places. Not from other places coming here and staying in Navadvip. No, this is the original. And from here, they are going to West India and there. Although a manifestation of my form is in the West India, I personally reside at this place eternally. And Pushkara is in Rajasthan, that Pushkara Tirtha, West India. The benefit one derives by bathing 100 times in the Pushkara Tirtha that is situated in the West is achieved by bathing here just once. 100 times there is here one time necessary. Therefore, whoever leaves Shri Navadvip Dham with the desire to visit any other holy place is an extremely foolish villain. Mura Durjan. Sai Maharaj would say, and our Gurudev would repeat, fool number one. Mura Durjan. Fool number one. If he's in Navadvip and wants to go to some other holy place. If someone attains the result of traveling to all other holy places, he attains residence in Shri Navadvip Dham. The fruit of all holy places, by gathering that, you get residence in Navadvip Dham. Or if you come to Navadvip Dham, you get all holy places. Just see that raised area which resembles a market. Kurukshetra and Brahmavarta are present there. The rivers Saraswati and Drishadvati flow on its two sides. They are beautiful and give the results of piety. O Bipra, I am revealing to you a very confidential topic. Soon, supreme happiness will manifest here. Shri Gaura Sundar will appear at Mayapur in the house of Mother Sachi, and he will freely distribute Krishna Prema amongst ordinary folk. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, intoxicated in Sankirtan Ras, will dance in all these places together with his devotees. Mahaprabhu will perform Sankirtan together with his devoted associates from all of his avatars. The whole universe will be drowned in the flood of Prema. All except those who indulge in false logic will receive this Mahaprema. O Divadas, whoever resides with firm faith in this Dham will attain the lotus feet of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. A rogue will not be able to develop taste for Shri Harinam even if he worships Shri Krishna for millions of years. But if he worships Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, his wicked mentality will quickly vanish, and very soon he will attain Shri Radha Krishna in Brajadham. that person will attain his spiritual form and the shelter of the maidens of Braja. He will receive the qualification to serve the divine couple in the forest bowers. Nijo sida deho paiya sokhir ashroy. Nijo kunjo Shri Jugal seva tar hoy. He will get his sida deho, his own sida deho, and the shelter of Sakhis. And in his own, in their own kunja, he will get the seva of Radha Krishna. O Bipra, stay here and perform bhajan, and you will attain darshan of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu with his associates. Saying this, Tirtharaja Pushkara departed. But the Brahmana heard an aerial voice. Very soon the blessed age of Kali is coming. O Bipra, at that time you will take birth and become immersed in the prema-like rasa of Sri Gaura's Kirtan. Hearing this, Divadas, freed from all worries, stayed on the banks of this kunda, performing bhajan. After narrating to Sri Jiva all these histories from the Puranas, Sri Nityananda Prabhu entered Uchahata, which is actually Kurukshetra. Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, all the demigods came here along with Kurukshetra Tirtha. All the holy places that are in Brahmavarta and Kurukshetra came to reside here. Pritudak and all the other holy places reside here and at ease serve Sri Navadvip Dham. The result one gets by residing in Kurukshetra for 100 years is obtained by staying here for only one night. Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, demigods came to reside here. They built a raised platform nearby and discussed with each other topics related to Sri Gaura. From that time on, this place became known as Hatha Danga. A person who has darshan of this place will attain unlimited prema. This is also one of the boundaries of Sri Navadvip. Come, let us now cross the Bhagirathi. After crossing the Bhagirathi, Sri Nityananda Prabhu reached Koladvip around noon. It seemed like the sun had just risen there. While walking along the path of Kulia Pahara, Sri Nitai Chand said to Sri Jiva, the sequence in which we are performing Parikrama by first crossing Ganga is the authentic sequence of Parikrama. By following this sequence, one will attain the actual result of Parikrama. One day at sunset, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with the intention of delivering the Kazi, went from Mayapur with thousands of his associates in huge Nagar Sankirtan that was accompanied by 14 mridangas. That night became as long as one night of Lord Brahma. In this way, Sriman Mahaprabhu began to wander throughout his Sri Navadvip Dham. Like we hear, the one night of Ras Lila, Krishna's Ras Lila with gopis, that became as long as one night of Brahma. Very long, 14 manus period. Because time can expand also and contract. And eternally two can exist together. How we can say there was Mahaprabhu and then later Radha Krishna, or first there were Radha Krishna, later Mahaprabhu. No, both are eternal. And their leelas are eternal. And they are existing simultaneously. And some devotees serve in one leela, some in another leela, some serve in both leelas. So how we can understand this? It is impossible with this material mind. If we say Radha Krishna Lila is eternal, then when Mahaprabhu Lila will happen? After or before? Both are eternal. So how this is possible? This is, we only have to experience in Samadhi. With this brain we cannot understand. Because that is different. Time and space which we are experiencing is different than that one. So here also Mahaprabhu did Sankirtan. That is same as Rasa Lila, Sankirtan. So they were doing Kirtan and that night became long as one night of Brahma. Every Ekadashi after that, my Lord and the devotees went on Nagar Sankirtan wandering throughout Navadvip. By his own desire, Sriman Mahaprabhu sometimes wandered over 5 koshas of Sri Antardip and sometimes he wandered for 8 koshas. It is impossible to understand by this brain. It has to be revealed. How one can enter into eternal Goloka. Then there will be some start, but that is eternal already. So how this is possible? Or enter into this world is also eternal. This creation always going on. It is impossible to our brain, but in transcendental reality, it is not impossible. But how it is, that only if it is revealed, then you can understand. By his desire, by his own desire, Sriman Mahaprabhu sometimes wandered over 5 koshas of Sri Antardip, and sometimes he wandered for 8 koshas. He started from his house for Barakona Ghat, then went to Balal Dirgika and to Sridhar's house. From the house of Sridhar, he would go to the border of Antardip. In this way, he easily completed 5 koshas Parikrama. And for 8 koshas, he would start from Simulia and go to the house of the Kazi. After talking to Sridhar, he would go to Gadigacha, means Godru, and from there he would arrive in Majida, Madhyadip. Next, he would cross the Bhagirathi and visit the places called Paradanga and Chinadanga, situated on the other bank of the Ganga. Then he would come back across the Ganga and return home after completing the 8 koshas Parikrama. The 16 koshas Parikrama is considered to be the complete Parikrama. Mahaprabhu feels satisfied after performing this Parikrama. O Jiva, I am taking you on that same 16 koshas Parikrama. No other Parikrama is considered equal to it. By performing this Parikrama, you will have darshan of the 12 forests in the area of Vrindavan, 16 koshas. This Parikrama is completed within 9 nights and is therefore also called Navaratra in the scriptures. The Parikrama of 5 koshas is completed in 1 day and the 8 koshas Parikrama in 3 nights. One should complete this Parikrama by spending the first night in Mayapur, the second in Godru, and the third on the banks of the Ganga. Hearing about the real nature of Parikrama, Shri Jiva Mahashaya became absorbed in Prema for a long time. Desiring to attain the cooling shade of Shri Nityananda Prabhu's and Shri Jannava Devi's lotus feet, this destitute and lowly person describes the glories of Nadia. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So this was Madhyadvip. I heard from Harikata Sridhar Maharaj that Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he desired that on all 9 islands, some Gaudiya Math temple establishment should be there. So in Mayapur already is there, and Godrum and that side, and in Champahati and Vidyanagar also Sarvam, and Sridhar Maharaj's Math is there. So when there were some disciples of Srila Sai Maharaj, and they were not so inclined to stay under that administration after the disappearance of Srila Sai Maharaj, so they used to come to Srila Sridhar Maharaj for guidance. So he told them that they should try to get one place in Navadvip. Sridhar Maharaj told them in almost all other places already some establishment is there, in Rudradvip and these places, but there is none in Navadvip yet. So he encouraged them. But later I think it didn't happen, or maybe temporary, I don't know, but he told them. So you see how this Navadvip is sacred. All Puranas and this Pushkara and everything is there. So maybe in future someone will make there some center. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Sri Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu. All glories to Srivas and the other devotees of Sri Gaura. All glories to Gaura Bhumi, the essence of all other holy places. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended here together with the holy name of Sri Hari. Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, everyone listen, this is Panchaveni, where 5 rivers join with the Ganga. The Bhagirathi Ganga converges here with Mandakini and Alakananda. River Saraswati flows here in a concealed way. The Jamuna comes from the western side together with Bhogavati, and with them is Manasa Ganga flowing with a strong current. The sages call this place Maha Prayag because here they performed millions upon millions of sacrifices together with Lord Brahma. Before I forgot to say, in Vrindavan, one time Nanda Maharaj and Jashoda and Brajavasis, they wanted to, at least once in a life, they should take bath in Ganga. It's very pious, and you can wash off your sins and all this, so they desired at least once in a life. So they were ready to go, but Krishna said why they should take this travel. They are old, they will walk to Ganga. Then he brought Ganga there by his own will. That is called Manasi Ganga. In Govardhan you will find. So Ganga came, Ganga Devi, and appeared there. So Krishna told, no need to go very far there. You take bath here in this Manasi Ganga I brought. You will get the fruit of bathing in Ganga. So nothing is impossible for Krishna. Krishna is omnipotent. So here also you see 5 rivers together, and this is Maha Prayag. People go to Prayag, it's very auspicious. Triveni, here is Panchaveni, 5. The glory of this place, known as Brahma Satra, is incomparable. By taking bath here, one will never have to take birth again. Who can describe the glory of this place? All the other holy places are like dried up rivers in comparison. Anyone who leaves his body in the water, on the land, or in the air of this place will attain Shri Golok Vrindavan. Like birds, they will give up their body in the air and fall down. So they will also get Shri Golok Vrindavan if they fly there in this place, Panchavini. And in water also fish and everyone, they will. If you give a body in the water, in air, on land, or land, everyone will get. This place on the banks of the Ganga is renowned as Kulia Pahara. Further they went from Panchaveli because it resembles a mountain. Pahar means mountain. If you go Navadvip Parikrama, there is Alta Pahara, where that melted is there, and some is Charan Pahara, like this Pahar, that is mountain. So here it's Kulia Pahara. In the scriptures, this place is called Shri Koladvip. Please hear a narration about this place dating back from Satya Yuga. There was once a Brahmana boy named Vasudev who always used to serve Shri Varahadev. Daily, after his worship of Shri Varahaditi, Vasudev would pray to him, "O Prabhu, please be merciful to me, give me your darshan, and thus make my eyes and life successful." Praying like this, the Brahmana boy cried and rolled in the dust of that place, thinking, "If my Lord does not give me his darshan, my life will go in vain." So when we have only this one desire, we think, there is no meaning to my life if I cannot have darshan of Supreme Lord, means there is no any other desire, then Krishna will appear to such pure surrendered devotee. After some days, Shri Varahadev mercifully revealed himself to Vasudeva in his form of Koladev. Shri Varahadev's divine form was decorated with many jewel-studded ornaments. His lotus feet, neck, nose, face, eyes, and all other bodily parts were enchanting to the mind. His divine body was as tall as a mountain. Upon seeing the Lord, the Vipra considered himself greatly fortunate. The Brahmana boy fell to the ground. Restless, he rolled in the dust of Shri Koladev's lotus feet and began to cry. Seeing the devotion of the Brahmana boy, Shri Varahadev spoke the following sweet words. "O Vasudev, you are my devotee. I am very satisfied with your worship. At the beginning of Kali Yuga, I will display my pastimes here in Shri Navadvip. Listen carefully to my words. There is no place in the three worlds equal to Shri Navadvip Dham. Even though this abode is very dear to me, it now remains hidden. It is also the verdict of all scriptures that Brahmavarta and all other holy places are present here. When I appeared in Brahma's sacrifice, I killed Hiranyaksha by tearing his body with my tusk. I have now appeared before you at that place, in this same pious land. All the holy places are present here to serve Shri Navadvip. By residing in Shri Navadvip, one resides in all other holy places. You are fortunate because you served me here in Navadvip. You have served me here in Navadvip. You will also take birth here at the time of Shri Gaura Hari's manifest pastimes. You will easily behold Maha Sankirtan as well as Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's unprecedented form. Saying this, Shri Varahadev disappeared from there. Just then, the Vipra heard an aerial voice saying, "Please scrutinize scriptural evidences to properly understand the true nature of Sriman Mahaprabhu." Vasudev was a great scholar. Therefore, after carefully contemplating what was written in the scriptures, he concluded that at the beginning of Kali Yuga, during the reign of Vaivasvata Manu, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu would manifest his pastimes in Sri Navadvip. He thought, in the scriptures, the sages have indicated this tattva in a hidden way. Only an intelligent person can understand this tattva. When Sriman Mahaprabhu's pastimes manifest, this tattva will also be revealed. For now, however, it should be kept a secret. In this way, the Brahmana boy got a hint of that secret truth. In great ecstasy, the Brahmana began Sankirtan and continuously sang the name of Sri Gaurahari in his mind. When he beheld the mountain-like divine form of Koladep, the intelligent Vasudev thought, surely this place is the mountain-like Koladvip as described in the scriptures. From that time, everyone began to call this place Koladvip Parvat. Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, O Jiva, the devotees know this place as Giriraj Govardhan in Sri Vrindavan, the place of eternal transcendental pastimes. Please take darshan of Sri Bahulavan, situated to the north of this place, that is Radha Kunda. Just see the splendor of Bahulavan shines in all directions. We are observing that Radha Kunda appearance is called Bahulashtami Titi. Bahulavan, it is north. So this is Govardhan. Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj made his mat there, called it as Devananda Gauriya Mat. After Devananda Pandit, he had his school there, and he installed Barahadip in his temple. You can see him. And little south from there is Srila Sridhar Maharaj's mat. That is still also Govardhan. Sridhar Maharaj told, because I am not eligible to stay in Radhakunda, but I have to be near when gurus will call me for some service, so I am keeping myself in Govardhan. That was Prabhupada's expression when he was in Vrindavan. I am not eligible to stay Radhakund, that is highest. My gurus can stay, but I have to stay near in Govardhan when they will call me for Seva. Our Parangurdev also expressed the same thing, and our Gurudev also expressed the same thing. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj expressed it here in Navadvip. So tomorrow we will hear further Parikrama.